Om Sahana Vavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Sadashivasamarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Shrutismritipurananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavatpadam Shankaram Lokashankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashyakritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punaha. Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsachanuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम्. Hari Om, salutations to all. So here in the 11th chapter, we see that Arjun glorifies Bhagavan, his form, and also the terrible form that he has seen. There is fear in his mind. There are lots of emotions which are mixed. On one hand, there is fear, on one hand, there is wonder, on one hand, there is a certain sense of surrender, devotion. And so we saw about up to verse 37. Kasmachatena nameran mahatman. That why should the great beings, why should they not bow down to you, O Supreme One? Gariyase, why? Because Gariyase Brahmanopi, you are greater than Brahmaji also, the creator. You are infinite. Ananta, Devesha, you are the Lord of the Devatas. Jagannivasa, you are the whole, you are the substratum in which the whole world resides as though. Or Jagannivasa also means you are the one who pervades and is residing in the whole world. You are imperishable, Tvamaksharam, Sad Asat Tat Param Yat. So you are beyond the manifest as well as the unmanifest, beyond the gross, beyond the subtle. Now continuing, 38. Vamadideva Purusha Puranaha Samasya Vishwasya Param Nidhanam Vetasi Vedyam Cha Param Cha Dhama Tvaya Vishwamanantarupa. Tvam Adidevaha, you are the primordial, the first Adidevaha, primordial God. So even from Bhagavatam standpoint, when we see Vishnu Bhagavan is supposed to be the eternal one, and from his Nabhi the lotus flower is there. Then Brahmaji is born, and Brahmaji's tenure is 100 years, and after that another Brahmaji comes. But Bhagwan is always there. He is the unborn, ultimate cause. So even though it is said Adi Devaha, Adi means beginning, but actually he is Anadi. There is no beginning because beginning is in time. Bhagwan is timeless. Consciousness is eternal before time. Time comes into play only after mind comes into play. If mind is not there, time is not there. Individual mind or total mind. Bhagwan is beyond both. So though it is said Adi Deva is from the standpoint of you and I, we are in time, so we think of beginning, middle, end. So we think when did creation begin? Who was in the beginning of creation? So it is said Bhagwan is Adi Deva. From Adi Deva. But remember, Bhagwan is eternal. It will come in this only. Next word, Purushaha. Purusha means consciousness. Does not mean a man here. Purusha is supreme consciousness. Prakriti is the power of that consciousness. So you are the infinite consciousness, you are the source. Adideva only means the source. And Puranaha. Purana means most ancient yet ever new. Pura api notana is Purana. Most ancient yet ever new, meaning, see, ancient means very old, new means immediate right now. How can both coexist? Purana only means eternal, actually, because that which is the substratum of all change is eternal. Old and new is in time, is a realm of change. And old will go, new will be born. Sometimes the new becomes the old goes, becomes the new. So that all is change in time. So he says, Bhagavan, you are eternal, you are most ancient, you are the source. Tvamasya Vishwasya Param Nidhanam. You are the final refuge of this entire world. Vishwasya Param Nidhanam. So final refuge. Why? Because the world rises, stays, goes back into Bhagavan. There is no other substratum. One may say, no, it is five elements, it is matter, it is scientific, and at one level it is all right, one can say, but matter is perishable. Bhagavan is imperishable, Purana is Purusha, consciousness. Matter plays on the substratum of consciousness only. Like we say, the waker is the substratum. The entire dream world, the dream objects, the dream, whatever, mountains and rivers and beings and whatever is created, that is all a projection. The fact is the waker alone is there, who is appearing as the dreamer, dream creator, dream characters, dream world. So, Tvamasya Vishwasya Param Nidhanam. The dream world rises in the waker, stays in the waker, goes back into the waker. So who is the Nidhan of the dream world? Is the waker. Same way, the whole world rises, stays, and goes back into consciousness. That is changeless substratum. Matter also is one aspect of it. Energy also is one aspect. Matter and energy are convertible. But consciousness is beyond both matter and energy. And it is not that consciousness which you and I think of. I was conscious and then I fell unconscious. It is not that. Consciousness is the enlivener of all equipment. It is Sat Chit Anand. It is experienced by us as aham, aham, aham. Even when I am fallen unconscious, that awareness is there, which is a witness in us. The mind has become unconscious for some time. Body has lost certain alertness and it has gone into a whatever physical state of stupor. Consciousness is enlivening all that. So that consciousness is the substratum. Tamasya Vishwasya Param Nidhanam. Now please remember, he is seeing Bhagwan as consciousness now, Krishna as infinite consciousness, not only as a form, not only as his cousin or a friend or a human being. He is seeing Adidevaha, Purushaha, Puranaha. So these verses we should understand. I have said earlier also that in the Gita, Krishna Bhagwan uh, is at different levels. We have to understand Bhagwan. In some levels, at some point in time, in some places he is Brahman, infinite, changeless, nameless, formless, attributeless, infinite, which is like here now. Some places he is Ishvara, the Lord, using the power of Maya, he has become Srishtikarta, Dharta, Harta. Some places he is the Guru of Arjun. Some places he is Avatar, who has come specifically as a form of Krishna. So different standpoints are there. And that is why we have to understand Krishna is not only the form. Krishna is consciousness appearing in this form. And that same consciousness appears as Shiva and Vishnu and Brahma and Devi and Hanuman and Durga and all of that. And all of us also. Of course, as totality, they have more powers. As individuals, we may have less power, but that's the limitation of the equipment. The wave and the ocean, both are water only. Of course, water as ocean has so much more power, and water as a wave has limited power, but essence is water in both. That is Advaita. So, when we understand that, then we will not become fanatical. Otherwise, we think only Krishna is the truth. Any other form you worship, you will go to hell. Bhagwan himself doesn't say that. Bhagwan very clearly says, Yo yo yam yam tanum bhakta shraddhaya chitum ichhati tasya tasya chalam shraddham tameva vidadhamyaham. The fourth chapter he says, whichever form you worship, in that form I will bless you with more shraddha. And yet there are people who will say only Krishna is the form, only he has to be worshipped. Without that you will go to hell. He is the only savior. That is all going against what Bhagwan himself said. Anyway, the point is Bhagwan has to be understood at different levels. So here when Arjuna is saying Vishwarupa, he saw forms also. There's no doubt all that we saw earlier. Divine forms, human forms, and then Kauravas going into his mouth, all that he saw. But he also is seeing that there is a substratum behind all this, and that is the Lord actually. It is Tvamadideva Purushaha Puranaha Tvamasya Vishwasya Param Nidhanam Vettasi. You are the only true knower. Vettasi. In this context, what is the meaning of Vetta? Past, present, and future. Bhagwan is the knower of all the three, Trikala. Bhagwan is the knower of every jiva's karma. And Bhagwan only ensures every jiva gets the right karma phala, right environment, and the jivas are brought together to exchange their karmas. He is the all-knower, omniscient, Vettasi. And the true knower also is he. In each of us, the capability to know comes because of the Lord. The body, mind, intellect are enlivened by consciousness. So, Vettasi, you are the knower. Vedyam cha, what is to be known? You are that knowing which everything else is known. The supreme thing to be known, or the supreme purpose of all knowledge, is Bhagwan. Vedyam, the goal of life is Bhagwan. Call it Bhagwan, call it truth, call it consciousness, realization, God realization, self realization, freedom, whatever name you want to give. What is that gaining which nothing more remains to be gained, knowing which nothing more remains to be known? One attains fulfillment. That supreme goal is Vedyam, is Bhagwan. So if you put both these together, Vettasi and Vedyam, you are the one to be known and you are only the knower. Meaning what? I, as a small little individual, can never know God. Why? Because I am limited, infinite, finite. And what is that to be known? Infinite. Infinite includes everything. There's nothing excluded out of infinite. And finite will never be able to know the infinite as a separate thing, as an object, because infinite, is only one. And that's why Gurudev always used to say, Narayana alone knows Narayana. No one else can know Narayana. Oh, Swamiji, you should have told before the 11th chapter we have come now and you are saying no one else can know Narayana. I want to really know Narayana only. Now you are saying nobody can know Narayana. The fact is Narayana alone can know Narayana and you are the Narayana. As the truth, as consciousness. We are not this body, mind, intellect. That's the myth that holds us in delusion, in grip of delusion. That is bondage. Wrong identification is bondage. Not knowing who am I and wrongly identifying with this BMI is bondage. So who is to be known? Retaining my body identification, God does not have to be known, cannot be known. Dropping that body identification, I will immediately know I am that. So who comes to know that? Narayana only knows Narayana. Ego dissolves and what remains is Narayana. Who gets to know the waker? Think about it. Swamiji, the dreamer comes to know the waker. A dreamer disappears, then only waker can be realized. So who realizes the waker? When the waker wakes up, waker realizes, Arey, I am always the waker. The dream was an illusion. It was never true. So who realizes the waker? Waker realizes the waker. And then what are we to do in this world? Narayana has to know Narayana. What about us? Arey, we are not separate from it, no? The dream character only is waker. If the dream character drops its identification with the dream body and the dream world, one will wake up to realize, hey, this whole thing was not real only. It was illusory. And if I'm waker, I'm lying on my bed, I didn't go anywhere, I didn't become anything. It was all just one projection, not real. Of course, that example has a limitation, but the point here is to know that Vedyam and Veta, who is the knower? So the goal that we are seeking is not something that I don't have. It is not something that I will get in time. In time, I will do this XYZ process, then I will come to realize the truth. No, any other goal can be attained like that. Self-realization cannot be attained like that. That's why the scriptures say very clearly, Tyage naike amritatva manashuhu, Kaivalya Upanishad says. Even Gita will say 12th chapter, Tyagat Shanti Anantaram. Only through Tyaga. The only way to know the truth is drop false identification, renounce. That's all. I can't gain it because anything gained will be perishable. It is not now, it is gained in time. It will perish in time. So we don't have to get mukti somewhere. Mukti is not going somewhere, becoming something, going to the loka of Bhagwan, becoming like Bhagwan. That is at one level one can say in bhakti, but real mukti is what? To drop the false identification that I am the body, mind, intellect. To know that Aham Brahmasmi, I am that infinite consciousness, not as the BMI, but as the truth. So the only way is drop all that which is not real. Neti, neti is what the Upanishads say. Neti, not this, not this. Whatever is finite, identification with that has to be dropped. Then what will remain? That is infinite alone. That's the only way to know it. So goal, when we say in all the other situations, suppose I say I want to become a doctor. Now, right now I'm not a doctor. I will study MBBS or whatever degree, and then I will become MD or MBBS. That in time, after spending some 4 years and then some practice and internship, etc., now I have become a doctor. So suppose 7 years ago I was not a doctor, now I become a doctor. Done. It is not like that in spiritual sadhana. 7 years ago, I was a deluded fool. Now I have done sadhana. Now I have become enlightened. Yes, sadhana I have done, satsang I have done. All that is to drop my false identification. And the realization is I was, I am, and always will be Brahman only. There is no, I have not become Brahman. Sadhana has not produced something to make me Brahman. I was the waker when the dream was created. I was the waker when the dream was sustained. I am the waker even when the dream has dissolved, one has woken up. That's the realization. I was always the waker. Hence, the nature of realization we have to lift our mind again and again. It is not something to be gained. It is already here and now. Just the false identification I have to keep dropping. Which is why all the puja, japa, contemplation, upvas, karma yoga, all the sadhanas are to drop false identification. So the only one criteria which one has to check from Vedantic standpoint in terms of progress is, has my body identification reduced, has my jiva bhav reduced? Do I feel more, as egoistic as before, or have I become humble, less, and this I thoughts don't rise so much. I don't take things too personally. My mind abides more in the higher, in contemplation, in bhakti, in selfless service. What did I benefit? How did I get more? What will I get out of this? Those thoughts disappear. Then one is progressing. Again, I'm saying this progress, etc., is required in that one level. So, from a level of impurity, we come to purity. From selfishness, we come to selflessness. All those are methods to drop false identification. We should not stop those sadhanas. We should not say, okay, anyway, I am Brahman only. What is the need to do sadhana? No need. No, that we are not saying that. All we are saying is the nature of the truth when we realize the process is to drop false identification, and that process is not producing the truth. Process is only revealing the truth which is already there and putting aside. Like if there is a radium ball and there is a cloth which is covered on that, now you remove that cloth, that radium ball is already there, it will shine. One doesn't have to put a torch there. The process of removal of that radium ball, of that cloth, that's all is the sadhana part. Remove the false identification, truth will shine on its own. That is my nature. So, Vettasi, Vedyam cha, Param cha Dhama. You are the supreme abode. So, Dham means the abode. So, abode means what? Literally, Dham means the abode of Bhagwan, where Bhagwan stays. So, we have Char Dham, Chota Char Dham, Bada Char Dham. Gangotri, Yamunotri, Badrinath, Kedarnath. They are called Chota Char Dham. Don't think that they are some smaller in size or something like that. No, that's because they are in the same Uttarakhand region. Bada Char Dham is Badrinath, Dwarka, Rameshwaram, Jagannath Puri, in four corners of the country. Now, what is the bhav there? Bhagwan stays in these places. One should not think there is some temple, some stone is there, and these people are worshipping mad people. They are. Bhagwan manifests there. He is there in the form of Badri Vishal Bhagwan, Jyotirlinga, Kedarnath ji, Ganga ji, Yamuna ji, in the Chota Char Dham. Same way, Badrinath ji, Badri Vishal ji, Dwarka is Dwarkadish, Bhagwan is there. Rameshwaram, Shivji is there. Jagannath Puri, Bhagwan is there in the form of Jagannath ji. It's not that they are some idols alone. Bhagwan is there in that form. And those who are sadhaks, they will feel the presence also. Many of them will experience, they will realize many great rishis, munis, they have had darshan of Bhagwan also there. So one has that shraddha. So dham means where Bhagwan stays. And generally these dhams we go, we come back. So some people may stay there also in the sense that they are residents of that place. But the word Paramdham means that state gaining which one doesn't come back. Yad gatva na nivartante tadhama paramam mama. That Bhagavan says in the 15th chapter. That is called Paramdham. Yad gatva na nivartante. Having attained which one does not come back. Oh, then one will always be with Bhagavan, you know. Devotees of Krishna Bhagavan, they feel like that. Some of them they feel that Nitya Ras is happening in Goloka and I will be there and I will keep watching Nitya Ras of Bhagavan. From Bhakti standpoint, yes, okay. Bhakta wants to have darshan of Bhagavan, be with Bhagavan, stay with the Lord, work, serve the Lord, all that, no problem. But this Paramdham actually is an Advaitic term describing the state of oneness with the consciousness, that experiencing that oneness, abiding in that state of oneness. When one realizes there is only one consciousness, there is nothing else. Everything else is only a projection, is not real. Including all the lokas, including Ishvara. From Brahman standpoint, everything is projection. From Waker's standpoint, the dream creator is also projection only, no? The dream world is also projection. Dream character is also projection. None of that is real. Ishvara, Jagat, Jiva, all are projection. Of whom? Of Brahman. So that state of oneness is called Paramdhama. Having attained that, one never comes back. Why? Because there's nothing to come back. Where to come back? And why to come back? We come back because we have desires. We need bodies to exhaust those desires and we have karmic bonds. We have to settle all that as Jiva. So one wants to come back. This devotee who has experienced supreme oneness, having known this, Vishwasya Param Nidhanam, Veta, Vedyam, all that, then there is no coming back. The supreme state, Yad Gatva Na Nivartante. Meaning one doesn't fall back into the realm of ignorance. Please remember, coming and going is it is an effect. Being born and then dying and being reborn. It is only an effect. Janma, Mrityu, Samsar is only an effect. What is the cause? The cause is desires and vasanas. What is the cause of that? Ignorance. So the root cause, if you remove the entire effect, everything will go destroyed. Root cause is I don't know who am I. When that knowledge arises, when one realizes, Arey, I am consciousness, unborn, unchanging, undying. What I just imagined this whole Srishti and everything. And actually in that highest state, there is no imagination, there is no nothing. This is all we are talking at language level. There is only one consciousness which is changeless, and that's what is the ultimate truth that has to be realized. So having realized that, one never again falls back into the delusion that I am a jiva. That is real mukti. In Bhagavatam it comes Hitva anyatha rupam swarupena vyavasthitihi. Giving up the false identification and getting established in the nature of mind, swarupa, avasthiti. That truth is Paramdham. So Paramdham is not a place. Dham is a place. And it has its own relevance in the relative world. We should not ridicule it. Because today the modern world, people do all that. They think they are very progressive, advanced in their thinking, rational minded, scientific. What is all these lokas and all that? That doesn't exist only. People are deluded. In the name of religion, people are being fooled. See, if somebody is fooling and somebody is extorting money or trying to tell people that do this, then you will go to this particular loka, etc. And then that out of greed, if they are exploiting, of course, that is wrong. Shastra doesn't say any of that to fool people. But the realms of existence are there. As long as I am in the relative plane, identified with the body, I feel I am a jiva. Ishvara exists, Ishvara's dham exists, Ishvara's name exists, form exists, qualities, leelas, everything exists. It's very weird. Now we say our name is there, our form is there, we have a house to stay, abode is there, everything is there for us. But for Bhagavan, none of that is there. Why? It's all imagination. Some people want to fool people, so they have created all this. Now, what is the proof, Swamiji? See, that's why one aspect is Shraddha. Shraddha is based on logic, based on certain understanding, and then one has to trust the scripture, follow the process, you will realize. So many devotees have had darshan of Bhagavan's form or not. So many people have even had visions of various realms of existence. Even today, there are people who have. There's one lady called Meera. She is from Andhra Pradesh, but she lives abroad. I think I don't remember now. Germany or France, somewhere now she is. She is not highly educated, etc. She is from very humble background, but she keeps getting visions, and she will say that now I met Indra, now this happened, now that happened, and it will all be written as per whatever is there in the scriptures. All those descriptions you will find. People have done enough verification, cross-checking, this, that. It is true. So even today, there are people who experience these states. For whatever reasons, they have had some karmic connection, some mind purity is there, and they have to still experience certain things. So they experience, they get visions, they see, and not some hallucination and some medical, chemical induced kind of a state. It's not like that. So there are higher planes of consciousness, whether we accept or not. That's why Shraddha is required. So those dhams exist. When we say Kailas, Saket Lok, Saket is where Bhagavan Ram stays. Golok, where Krishna Bhagavan stays. We have Ganeshji also has a loka. Like that, most of them they will have a loka. So that is called dham of Bhagavan. The Param Dham is one only, which is consciousness. Having realized that, one has gone beyond the Triputi of Jiva, Jagat, Ishvara. Realizes the truth. That is Param Dham. So he says, you are that Param Cha Dhama. Vetasi Vedyam Cha Param Cha Dhama. Tvaya Tatam Vishwam. This whole world is pervaded by you. This creation is pervaded by you. And Ananta Rupa. You have infinite forms. You are not one form. See, so many places this comes. And yet somewhere human mind wants to control, becomes fanatic, and pushes one narrative that is there in the head. No, only this form, only this form. Hare Ram. How will you explain all this then? Some twisted explanation one gives for it. Ananta Rupa means he can take any infinite number of forms. Are, he's saying all forms are him already. But anyway, that is a human tendency. Now, having said this, again he says all the different gods also are him only. So if you worship any other devata also, ultimately it will reach him only. In the 9th chapter also he said that. People don't know that they are actually worshipping him through the devatas. If they know, they will worship directly. But they think that no, Indra will bless me with this, and Varuna will bless me with this, and Shani will bless me with this. So they worship each one individually. But ultimately, they all derive power from Bhagavan, and Bhagavan only is appearing as all these forms also. So that's what Arjun says now. Because Arjun is seeing now that they all are Bhagwan only in this form. वायुर्यमोऽग्निर्वरुणः शशाङ्कः प्रजापतिस्त्वं प्रपितामहश्च नमो नमस्तेऽस्तु सहस्रकृत्वः पुनश्च भूयोऽपि नमो नमस्ते. So Vayuhu, the Vayu Devata. Please remember here Vayu, Yama, Agni, all these are Devatas. So the presiding deity of air, one who regulates the functioning of the air, who because of whose uh, presence the air functions, that deity is Vayu Devata. So Vayuhu, Yamaha, the lord of death, Agni, fire, Varuna, the lord of water, all these. So Vayu, Agni and Varuna. Without these, life is not possible. Agni is in our body also, as Jaఠaragni, Hridayagni. So Agni, Vayu, Varuna, water, air, fire. Without that, life is not possible, and these are deities who regulate this functioning. Then Yama, god of death. He is also Dharmaraj. So Vayu, Yamogni, Varuna, then Shashankaha, the moon, because of whom there is what we have seen earlier, the vitamins, minerals, that Aushadhi gets that nourishment from the moon, Shashankaha. Then Prajapati Hitvam. You are the Prajapati. So Prajapati here means Daksha Prajapati, who is responsible for taking the creation forward and bringing forth various species, etc. Brahmaji creates Prajapati. So Prajapati is the as though the father of the universe, and Brahmaji is the uh, Pitamaha. And then who is the Prapitamaha? Great grandfather is Vishnu Bhagwan, is the supreme truth. Pitamaha is grandfather, so Brahmaji is grandfather. Daksha Prajapati is the father. Vishnu is the great grandfather. Again, please remember, this is one way to depict a certain principle, and yes, these forms exist. There is no doubt in that. But we don't have to start thinking in gross physical terms when we speak about father and mother and then the physical union and then the child is produced. That's at the physical level. The Srishti is at Sthula Srishti, and there's a Sukshma Srishti. There's a Manasa Srishti also. So Brahmaji's Manas Srishti is from there Daksha Prajapati and Naradji and you know Saptarishis and like that many things Brahmaji creates through his mind, and then further they take the creation forward, and then the Sthula Srishti happens. Now we'll say where the science comes into play in all this. So there are phenomenal forces which have been explained through the Puranas. Science has its own terminology and the Big Bang, etc. And then the whole universe. That's the evolution of the physical universe, the science we speak about. And we don't have to twist either of these to suit the other one's narrative. Each one is trying to explain creation through their understanding. Bas. If there is some similarity, great. If not, don't bother. We don't try to twist this and put in this. See, our religion is so scientific. Of course, there's some scientific part, but everything doesn't have to be fit through the lens of science. Nor do we have to ridicule science. Science has its own method. What is the ultimate point? Point is to know the truth. Whether you do through science, through spirituality, through a combination of both. Why put anything down? Spiritual people, in fact, we should be all accommodative, all inclusive. We don't have to look down upon science. In the same way, those who are really scientific in temper, they don't need to criticize spirituality. If yeah, some dogma and some fanaticism and all that, then of course that anyone we don't support that. But otherwise, both have their own methods, their own means, and both of them have their own discoveries. So accept them for whichever appeals. So here it is Prajapatistvam Prapitamahascha. So basic point is what? Again, if you come back to Advaita, the so when we say Narayana Bhagwan, from his Nabhi Vishnu is born, Brahmaji is born. So Narayana is Brahman. Then Ishvara is Brahmaji, and then Hiranyagarbha, and then Virat, and the whole Srishti happens from causal level to the subtle level to the gross level. Srishti will proceed. Some Vedant one will definitely be able to see even in that Puranic description. So the waker only then has a desire to dream so that he becomes the causal, that is Ishvara, then becomes the dream creator, that is Brahmaji, then the dream creator creates the entire dream Srishti through the Prajapati, through whatever. So the dream creator unfolds in stages, the whole Srishti will come about. So Prapitamahascha, then Namo Namastestu Sahasra Kritvaha, salutations to you thousands of times, because Ananta Rupa you are, each Rupa also if we salute is infinite times. So thousands of times, meaning, please, like we say, na koti koti pranam. We don't do koti pranam actually, but the bhav is koti koti pranam. Crores and crores of pranams. Punascha bhuyopi namo namaste, and then again salutations. After saying thousands of times salutations, again salutations. Why? Because there's nothing else that one can do. The massiveness is so much, totality is so awesome, glorious. I'm very insignificant in front of that. And in fact, I am a part of that totality, is what Arjun realizes. So the next shloka, again he does namaskar only, see, because he doesn't get satisfied. That is real humility which has come in him now, because suddenly he sees everywhere is Bhagwan. He is all pervasive. Entire universe is pervaded by him. And what he thought was only one small form and Krishna is actually Jagannivasa, the one who resides in the whole world and in whom the whole world resides. So again he does namaskar, see that. नमः पुरस्तादथ पृष्ठतस्ते नमोऽस्तुते सर्वत एव सर्व अनन्तवीर्यामितविक्रमस्त्वं सर्वं समाप्नोषि ततोऽसि सर्वः. So as though if you visualize what is he doing, salutations to you before, meaning in the front, then he turns and salutations at the back, on the sides, everywhere. Just wherever he sees is Bhagwan. Nama purastadata prishtataste namostute sarvata eva sarva, is as though round, 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 everywhere he is doing namaskar, namaskar, namaskar everywhere. We may feel like laughing, saying, what? How is this? So funny it sounds. He's going on doing namaskar, full 360 degrees. But that's the vision. When one sees everything as one, there's one all-pervasive truth. And here specific vision is having a mystic vision where he is seeing Vishwarupa. Not very easy to see. Bhagwan himself will say that. Even Devatas can't see this Vishwarupa. Arjun is seeing that through the Divya Chakshu. So the bhav that he has is some complete surrender. Even little bit resistance which was there, why is this happening, this should not happen, this is not fair, all gone. Vishwarup, when he sees the whole totality, past, present, future, everything in one. So he knows, array, it is all right. We in our limited mindset, we think this should not have happened to me. Why did this happen to me? This is not correct. This is fair. This is not fair. Array, from Bhagwan's standpoint, that is the fairest thing that you can get. So he is compassionate. He is karma phala data, who does justice with compassion. At that point, it may be unpleasant to us. We may not like, we resist, and we feel very offended also. And then sometimes we get disillusioned, saying, no, no, I don't believe in God. I worship God for so much, and this did not happen. I was expecting this particular result and this promotion and that particular contract to come to me, or this particular mark to come to me, and this particular person to be in my life, but this didn't happen. I lost all faith in God. That happens sometimes. The near and dear one passes away, something unfair happens to that near and dear one, and it is painful, there's no doubt. But that's where Shraddha is, that it is in the big picture, it's appropriate, Bhagavan knows what is the best. So that is complete surrender. See, in the beginning, when Arjun surrendered to Bhagavan, his surrender was incomplete. He said, Shishyasteham shadimam tvam prapannam. I prostrate to you, you please make me a disciple, I take refuge in you, you please instruct me. But that was in 7th verse in the 2nd chapter. And then in the 10th verse, he drops the, he says, Nayor Chaiti Govindam. You tell me anything, but I will not fight. So that one part of his mind has held on to that notion that yes, I am ready to listen, but I will not fight. So that much part is a closed part. Other part is open, saying, okay, you tell me, how do I get out of confusion? What is this? I don't know what is right and wrong. You please tell me. But I will not fight. So Bhagavan gives all the knowledge. And now in the 11th chapter, Vishwarupa, he has shown now Arjun is dumbfounded, completely stunned, benumbed, wonderstruck. He doesn't, his buddhi can't comprehend. This is vision of totality. And he understood what a blunder he is making. Bhagavan alone is everything. And he saw the totality. He saw that Pandavas are winning, Kauravas are losing, and what is finally happening. All that he saw. But more importantly, he realized the infinite nature of Bhagavan. Till now, he does not know that. He knows Bhagavan is great, there is no doubt. He knows Krishna is great. He has saved them from a lot of trouble. But infinite nature of Krishna, and that too in Vishwarup, he has not seen. Now when he sees, there is only complete acceptance. Whatever Bhagavan does is right. Doesn't mean that one is not using the buddhi, but the resistance is gone. Insistence, resistance, all that gone. So what does he do at that point at least? Namo namaste, again and again. Namostute sarvata eva sarva. In all ways, I only prostrate to you. Why? Ananta virya. You have infinite power. Amita vikrama. Immeasurable are your deeds. Tvam. Vikramastvam. Then sarvam samapnoshi. You pervade everything. Tatosi sarvam. You are all. Tataha asi sarvam. You are everything and you pervade everything. So now Arjun has understood the vision of infinity, oneness. Bhagavan alone is the truth. And he alone is Ishvara. He alone is the substratum of the whole world. All that he has known now. Now he feels, my God, what did I do? This is the Lord, infinite Lord, creator of the universe, who is with me. And I treated him just like a casual person. Even in the world, if somebody is a great achiever or a great scholar, or, one has certain reverence and one will address them with respect or saying, sir, or your honor, or whatever, some add some G behind their name. So give respect and, one it treats them with great reverence, cordial is one's behavior. One does not take it to be like one's own friend at the same level. Someone who is higher, one will always have a certain respect, reverence, even in the expression, in the way in which one talks, communicates, all that. One doesn't take them for granted. Here, one has taken, because he thought Krishna is my cousin and we have grown up together. Hey, Krishna. Sometimes you would have given him one pat on the back also. Suddenly, what did I do? Is Bhagavan, my God. And I called him any name also. So suddenly he feels apologetic. He says, I am so sorry. I did know your glory. Please forgive me. I called you any names. I treated you anyhow. Please, please, I am very sorry. It's not that Bhagavan is going to punish him or anything. It's not out of fear, but he recognizes that what a blunder it is. The greatness of a person is not recognized and the person is taken for granted. That's a mistake. He recognized, oh, what a blunder I made. Many times that is what happens. Gurudev always used to say, the greater the Mahatma is, the more humbler that Mahatma will be. One will not even know that this person is a Mahatma. One doesn't even project themselves. In fact, they will be like anybody else. Even sometimes they will do things which other people don't even, regularly they will not even do those. They will be so humble because they have ultimately realized that there is only one truth. So what ego, who is superior, who is inferior, all that is stupidity. One serves quietly, one serves smilingly, one serves. There is no kind of I am greater, I have realized the truth, you are to be realizing the truth, you prostrate to me. That is all ego. Somebody was asking me today only. There was one corporate retreat I went yesterday, and then today morning they were asking why this orange color. So reflecting, so one point came up very nicely that orange is the color of this ripe mango. So the knowledge which is ripe has to bring humility and renunciation. That's why it's orange. Knowledge, if it is not ripe, it can bring ego. So vidya dadati vinayam. The real knowledge will bring humility. And this ultimate self-knowledge is the only way to realize is humility. Drop the ego. So the color of renunciation is orange. And knowledge is the strength on which I renounce whatever is false. Hence orange color. And that shows ripeness of knowledge. That shows the uh, result of knowledge is the ability to drop what is false. And when I drop what is false, I abide in the knowledge of the self. So they go hand in hand. Intellectual knowledge of the truth and the self will help me to drop false identification. When we drop false identification, we will come to wake up to the truth. So that is humility. And when up, you see how Gurudev was very approachable. Anybody can go. He doesn't have some 20 people protocol, and then you have to take their appointment, and then they will consult, and then they will come back, and then they will approachable. You can meet. Of course, you take some time and go. That's a functional convenience. But otherwise, nothing. No qualms about anything. Whoever comes, Gurudev will have the same treatment for all. It may be some big industrialist, it may be some humble, simple person. Or a sadhu, they all are same. Vidya vinaya sampanne, brahmane gavihastini, shuni chaiva shvapake cha, pandita samadarshina. They will have same vision for all. Appropriately, they may treat each one, there is no doubt, as per their particular designation, etc. But psychologically, no superior, no inferior, nothing. Because there is only one Brahman and they see it all. So that is the vision. Now, when he has this understanding that, oh God, what did I do? How did I treat Krishna? He is a Lord of the universe. He is not just a great person, he is Bhagwan himself. So these two verses now, 41 and 42, he feels guilty, he feels regret, he feels, and Shankaracharya says that he feels that I have been a sinner due to lack of right knowledge. I didn't know that who are you in your true nature. So that lack of right knowledge, I have sinned in what? That I didn't know your greatness. And so very much lived foolishly in the past and thought you are just a child of Vasudeva and Devaki, but you are the creator. I didn't know. So see this 41, 42. सखेति मत्वा प्रसभं यदुक्तं हे कृष्ण हे यादव हे सखेति अजानता महिमानं तवेदं मया प्रमादात् प्रणयेन वापि यच्चावहासार्थ मसत्कृतोऽसि विहारशय्यासनभोजनेषु एकोऽथवाप्यच्युत तत्समक्षं तत्क्षामये त्वामहमप्रमेयम्. He says sakheti matva, thinking of you as just my friend, sakha iti matva. Prasabham yaduktam, presumptuously whatever I would have said. What did you say? Hey Krishna, hey Yadava, hey Sakha, iti. I would have called you, hey Krishna, come here. Oh Yadava, what are you doing? I may have said like that, casual expression with a friend, sometimes giving one on the head also, hey Sakheti, like that. But I didn't know. Why did I do all that? Ajanata mahimanam tavedam. I didn't know your glory. Maya pramadat pranayena vapi. From carelessness, I would have acted like that because I had no idea who you are, what is your glory. Yet there is all love. There is no doubt. There is love in the heart. Pranayena vapi. Pranayena is love. So there is love for you, and I acted out of love only. But careless, I didn't know, ignorant I am, and so I treated you very casually, just like my equal. See, all said and done, Jiva is Jiva, Ishvara is Ishvara, as long as body identification is there. As long as Arjun is in the state of ignorance. So, though Krishna is Ishvara, when Arjun is identified with himself as a ignorant Jiva, then Krishna is Ishvara, who is totality, who is supreme, who is creator, sustainer, destroyers. Sarva Shaktiman, Sarvagnya, Sarvavyapi. And Jiva is Alpa Shaktiman, Alpa Vyapi, Alpagnya. Limited power, limited knowledge, limited pervasiveness. Ishvara is all powerful, all knowledge, all pervasiveness. So there is a difference. From Jiva standpoint, Ishvara is, as long as I feel I am Jiva, Ishvara is, and Ishvara is to be revered. One may love the Lord, there's no doubt. Even one may have friendly relationship. Somebody may say, but Swamiji, if I have Krishna as my friend, then he is my equal. No. See, even when the devotees have considered Bhagwan as their friend, like Sudama, or gopis considered him as the beloved, or Mirabai considered him as a beloved, Radha considered him as a beloved. They know that he is Ishvara. And so their sambandha will be like that. In that relationship, of course, there will be some loving exchanges and all that, but they know that he is Ishvara. And they will not treat him as just like just anybody. Out of love only. They may say something, all that is out of love to get his attention, to, you know, spend more time with him, all that. But Arjun had no idea. And so he treated him just like that out of carelessness, ignorance. And so he feels, oh God, what did I do? Yachavahasartham. Avahasa means fun, just for the sake of fun. Asatkritosi, I have disrespected you so many times. That's the guilt he has. That's the sad feeling he has little bit in his mind. That, I've disrespected you so many times. Sometimes I may have called you with some bad words also. Sometimes I would have ignored what you have said. Sometimes I would have taken you very casually. All that. So he says, Asatkritosi, I may have disrespectfully behaved towards you. Where? In all these Vihara, Shayya, Bhojana, Asana, Bhojaneshu. While at play, while, sleeping, Vihara, Shayya, Asana, when sitting together, or Bhojaneshu, at meals. I may have behaved inappropriately, disrespectfully, because I didn't know your glory. एको अपि अथवा एकोथ वा अपि अच्युत तत्समक्षम, in front of you, or when alone also. Tatsamaksham is in front of you. Sometimes when I'm alone, or sometimes in company. So individually also I may have disrespected you in between us, how I have spoken, what tone I have used, or what kind of body language, actions, all that. Sometimes fight also would have happened, all that can happen. And sometimes in company of people also. Tat kshamaye, please, I beg you, please forgive me. Tvam aham aprameyam. You are immeasurable. I seek forgiveness. You please forgive me. I behave like this. See, please remember, Bhagwan did not take offense. Bhagwan is kind, compassionate, accommodative. But this is the bhav of Arjun. And Arjun realizes now. This is one of the biggest turning points in the Gita is this. Of course, later on, Arjun, when fighting the war, sometimes the knowledge of the Gita, he forgets at some point in time. And then again, he asks at the end of the war to repeat. But deep down, he has understood now he is Krishna. He is not ordinary. He's the creator. He's not an ordinary person. And so, when the Lord gives him the choice at the end of the Gita that you uh, decide what you want to do, I have given all the knowledge. Yatha ichhasi tatha kuru. You decide and you do whatever decision you take. I leave it to you. There when he says, that karishye vachanam tava, I will do what you tell me. One of the biggest reasons is this Vishwarupa he has seen now. Somebody may say that Swamiji, he chose Bhagwan before, no, when the Akshauhini army and the choice was given to him between one Akshauhini army on one hand and Krishna who will not lift any weapons on the other hand. At that time, why did he choose Krishna? Did he not know Krishna is Bhagwan? See, he knew, as I said earlier, he knew that yes, he is the uh, son of Vasudeva and Devaki. He is very powerful. He has helped them a lot, and some inclination he has, some idea he has that he is divine, but he doesn't know Ananta Rupa Bhagwan. So he is a devotee, no doubt. He has bhavana for Bhagwan Krishna, but he again worships Lord Shiva, as his Ishta is Bhagwan Shiva. One. Two, knowing the glory is one aspect, but knowing the glory fully is another aspect. He knows some glory, some inclination he has, some idea he has, but he doesn't know this is infinite nature of Krishna is this. That he comes to know now. And hence this bhav that, oh, how did I behave? And please, I behaved very casually with you while being alone, while in company, in very simple day-to-day activities of eating and walking and talking and spending time with each other, being in the company, sitting, sleeping, all that. In all that, I would have done so many things disrespectfully. Please, you forgive me. Now, when he says this, it is surrender is one aspect. Now, this forgiveness is another aspect where he accepts. This also the jiva realizes. No? Many times that happens uh, with the Sadguru also, with a living master. Sometimes one doesn't recognize only who is he. And the mind has a tendency to find fault, analyzing the behavior of the teacher. See, no doubt that one should analyze and then surrender. It should not happen just like that, and then one may get fooled also. But the point also is this, many times our mind can't comprehend. And so it will start finding faults and even from in a realized person. And then it will criticize, it may behave disrespectfully, all that can happen. Even till the last minute, you see, Vivekananda had his skepticism. And that is Vivekananda, not any other ordinary person. Is such a highly evolved person. What levels of purity of mind and devotion, etc. he had, and intellectual capacities. Even till the last minute, he is doubting Ram Krishna, who is counting his last few moments, and at that time his mind says, if at this point he says he is Rama or he is Krishna, sorry, the words are, I think, if at this point he says he is God, I am ready to believe. Because Vivekananda is continuously analyzing his behavior and testing him, and all that was happening. And these 2 years is what he spent with his teacher, 1884 to 1886. So last minute also he is still judging. Is he really God? And the next thought, Ramakrishna says, he who came as Ram, he who came as Krishna is in front of you as Ramakrishna. At that point, Vivekananda surrenders fully, 100%. And that is where it is said he transferred, Ramakrishna transferred his spiritual powers to Vivekananda. Because great work has to be still be done. So he transferred. My point is, even with the teacher, that will happen. Highly evolved beings also will go through that. And so, Arjun, when he realizes this, all the um, attachment that he has in his mind for Bhishma, Drona, and all of them, that has been transformed into this devotion for Bhagwan, and now he understood everything is appropriate. When he said in the last time in the satsang we saw that he says Thane Rishikesha, everything is in place. This is the bhav of surrender. That whatever is happening properly only. Yes, what we have to do as our duty with the bhav that Bhagwan is the karta, I am not the karta, it is happening through me. So this is not escapism from one's duty, not justifying anything wrong also that has happened, but in the bigger picture, it is all properly happening. So even if there is a war where Pandavas have to kill the Kauravas, in the biggest picture, that is appropriate only. So there is nobody to blame saying that Duryodhana was very bad and have dvesha, and there is nobody to be attached to that, oh, this person is very dear to me. In the big picture, everybody is just a instrument. And we do our duty to the best of our capabilities, anchoring in dharma. Now, one more shloka he says, Pitasi lokasya characharasya tvamasya pugyascha gururgariyan natvatsamostyabhyadikah kutonyah lokatrayepya pratima prabhavaha. Pitasi lokasya characharasya, you are the father of this universe, meaning you are the cause of the sentient and the insentient, moving, non-moving, characharasya. Tvamasya pugyascha, you are the one who is to be adored in this world. Pujya, worshipful. Truly who is worshipful is Bhagwan alone. Everybody else, we are only instruments. We should worship the Lord alone. Even any great Mahatma or a great saint or a Sadguru will lead us only to Bhagwan and say you worship Bhagwan. Because what is individuality in front of totality? Zero, nothing. And if somebody feels I need to be worshipped and I should be worshipped, that is ignorance only. Even Gurudev, when Pada Puja used to happen, he would close his eyes and he would say, I am a postman, I am taking your worship to Bhagwan. And that also because the disciple needs to anchor in the Guru, so he would say, okay, otherwise he is not bothered. So the point to understand is what? Who is really worshipful is Bhagwan alone. We worship every other smaller power in the world and forget Bhagwan. We flatter some people, we glorify them, we praise them. For some benefit we want. But really who is worshipful? Bhagwan alone. Why? Because all the qualities are all divine qualities are in Bhagwan, which will never get contradicted. Even in the best of people, sometimes one may fall. Unless, of course, somebody is a realized person, that's a different matter. But otherwise, even the best of people, One respects them, reveres them, admires them, but worship is only of Bhagwan actually. So, Ramasya Pudyascha, Gurur Gariyan, you are the Guru and you are to be, uh, Gariyan means the one who is heavy, but meaning one whose uh, life, behavior, conduct is not very cheap and light. Laghu and Guru. Guru means heavy, Laghu means light. Whose conduct is not light and breaking dharma, licentious. No, who is Guru, who is anchored in deep values. He says, you are the one who is really worshipful, adorable, who is to be, who is the Guru, whose conduct itself is great. Natvat samaha asti. There is nobody like you. Abhyadikaha. And nobody superior to you. Natvat samaha asti. There is no one equal to you. There is no one superior to you also. You are the greatest. Kuto anyaha. Who else is there? Nobody, because there is only one truth. Lokatraya api. In all the three worlds. Apratima prabhavaha. You are unequaled power. And if we understand that these are qualities of our Ishta also, it's not only of Krishna Bhagavan, each one's Ishta is this. There is no one greater than your Ishta, who is no one more worshipful than the Ishta. There is nobody who is more powerful. The Guru is Ishta only. And there is nobody superior, nobody equal. If that bhav we have in our Ishta, surrender will happen, bhakti will be there, sadhana will happen more single pointedly. So for today we will stop here. We thank all our Yajmans, Mukhya Yajmans, Paragwag, Kalpana ji, Hemant ji, Bharat ji, Achyutan ji, Nandita ji, Aarti Yajmans for all sessions, Vipul ji, Nalini ji, Surbhi ji, Rajan ji, Sapna ji, Dipti ji, Jolly ji, Ajay ji, Kirit ji, Garima ji, Jayashri ji, Jyotsna ji, Hem ji, Vijaya ji, Vinu ji, Tarana ji, Mukta ji and Majnu ji. Dainik Yajman for today, Karan Aswani, Vishal Dhawan and Shalini Dhawan. And today's Aarti Yajman is Veena Chatlani, Manisha Agaskar and Pradeep Shroff. So we invoke Bhagwan's grace and blessings of the Guru Parampara on all the Yajmans, their families, everyone present here. May we have this bhav of complete surrender towards Bhagwan. May we have unshakable faith in our Ishta, know that the Ishta is the supreme. May we have complete Shraddha that each moment the Ishta is with us and Bhagwan bless us with surrender, devotion, and we act as the instruments of the divine. Om Tat Sat.
ॐ जय भगवद्गीते मैया जय भगवद्गीते हरिः कमलविहारिणि सुन्दर सुपुनीते ॐ जय भगवद्गीते कर्म सुमर्म प्रकाशिनि कामासक्तिहरा तत्त्वज्ञानविकासिनि विद्या ब्रह्मपरा ॐ जय भगवद्गीते निश्चलभक्तिविधायिनि निर्मलमलहारिणि शरणरहस्यप्रदायिनि सबविधि सुखकारी भयहारिणि तारिणि परमानन्दप्रदा ॐ जय भगवती आसुरभावविनाशिनि नाशिनि तमरजनी दैवी सद्गुणदायिनि हरिरसिका सजनी ॐ जय भगवती समता त्याग सिखावनी हरिमुख की बानी सकल शास्त्र की स्वामिनी श्रुतियों की रानी ॐ जय भगवती दया सुधा बरसावनी मातु कृपा की जय हरि पद प्रेम दान कर अपनों कर लीजय ॐ जय भगवती ॐ जय भगवती मैया जय भगवती हरिया कमल विहारिणि सुंदर सुपुनीते ॐ जय भगवती ॐ जय भगवती ॐ जय भगवती बोलिए गीता मैया की जय
बोलिए श्री कृष्णचंद्र भगवान की जय, श्री सद्गुरुनाथ महाराज की जय। Yes. Any questions? You can raise your hand. Yes, Karan.
Hari Om Swamiji. Swamiji, I had a question which actually is perhaps relevant to the life of Bhishma, and it's more like a case study, perhaps. So you had said that in Karma Yoga, obviously, Karma Yogi is motivated by a higher ideal, and one chooses an altar of surrender, and sometimes it can be the family. Let's say, for example, just like Bhishma had his father as an ideal, and he served the king as a, as someone he saw his father in. But the other point is that you also said that we should make dharmic choices, and now here Bhishma Pitama finds himself on the wrong side. Though he has an ideal, he is supporting a dharma in this case. Now, suppose in the modern context, somebody wants to serve their family, but then they're working for, let's say, an organization who is not necessarily doing dharmic things, or like, say, for example, just a few months ago it was found out that Nestle is adding sugar into baby cereals, and has been concealing this information. So what happens is, although somebody is serving this ideal, one is compelled to continue doing it for the sake of their families, in this case serving the family, but he finds themselves on being a part of certain adharmic organizations, like in this case Hastinapur became an adharmic kingdom because of Dhritarashtra. Similarly, so this is like a dilemma for somebody. So how does one make choices in this case?
So, when one serves a family or a company, etc., that is only an intermediary step. It is not that is ultimate, because ultimate, as we saw today also, it is worshipful is Bhagwan alone. Initially, one may or may not be able to identify with the Lord, one may not have knowledge, capability, inclination, so many factors are there. So one says you think about your family because the nearest is that to you, and the altar of love, one surrenders the ego. So one says, for the family I will do, their happiness is my happiness, for them whatever I can sacrifice, all that. Same thing apply for a company, for a country, etc. But obviously they all are finite, and that's why, as you said, there will be adharmic choices sometimes. Sometimes they will do things which may not be appropriate, and one has to then take a stand accordingly. One can't say that, that's where the mistake of Bhishma is, and that's what Krishna Bhagwan teaches him. when Bhagwan jumps out of the chariot with his, and takes a wheel and charges at Bhishma, he teaches Bhishma that for the sake of dharma, you should have actually abandoned your oath, because you can be loyal to anybody on the throne as long as they are dharmic. Because what is the Raja's job? Raja's job is to do nyaya and dharma. And if the Raja is not dharmic, you don't have to be loyal to that Raja. And Yuyutsu showed that to Bhishma, as well as Vidur showed that to Bhishma. But Bhishma didn't learn from both. Vidur showed it before the war began. Yuyutsu showed it just at the time of war. When the war began, he shifted from Kaurava side to Pandava side. So that is one aspect. So Bhishma was taught that lesson there, and that Bhishma's life is an example of that. That when there is a conflict between the person and the organization, uh, and dharma in this context, then one has to choose dharma. One can't be loyal to just that person. Same way now, if we apply in the daily life, if there are situations where there is gross injustice that is being done, adharma being done, and one is becoming aware, one has become aware, now it has come to light, and if the organization doesn't change, then it is one's choice that whether one wants to continue there. If you say for family reasons one has to continue there, etc., then one has to be ready to deal with any karmic consequences that will come. One can try and do, reduce the dependence there, try and do something parallel, slowly shift from that to the new one. Options are possible. But if not at all possible and one has to continue there, if it is possible to persuade the management to change, that is another possibility. If that is not happening at all and there is absolutely desperate situation, one has to continue, then whatever karmic consequences come, one has to deal with it. As well as one may say that I can do some dan, punya, one can do some other things to equip oneself to deal with it. It will not cut any negative consequences. When it is done with ignorance, when one doesn't know, it has been hidden and some people are doing it, one did not know. Even though one may have, done whatever, one has the faith in the organization, one has done some research, then got a job there, all that one may have done. But so then, because of ignorance, one is not going to get punished because one is not doing it out of that intention. But once it is known that there is some unethical practice, if one still continues and that unethical practice doesn't change, and one still continues there, then there is a karmic consequence which will come. There is no doubt in that. So how to deal with that is each one's choice, whether to continue there, whether to bring about a change there, whether to collectively protest and bring about a change, or whatever that is scenarios are that one has to explore. If nothing is possible, if one is able to walk out, then what else is the option? Then one can walk out. If that also is not possible, then deal with whatever comes and equip oneself with whatever is the negative consequences if they come. Some backup I must have, some more punyas, more sadhana, all that. But again, that does not justify anyway the negative karmic consequences. The best would be either they change or one has to leave and find somewhere else. Now, if somebody says that no, anywhere else also the same situation is there, then the only solution is pray to Bhagwan that give me an opportunity that I am able to start something on my own, do it as dharmic way as possible, or find some organization which does much more ethical work, etc. Pray for it, look out for it, see if that is happening, and then change.
So here, the dharmic choice is more significant or more important than the ideal one has chosen of serving the family. Is in terms of
Correct.
priority, one should actually look at it that way and see what best one can do, right?
Correct, because dharma rakshati rakshita, that is one aspect. Second aspect is the family also. If you go deep into our scriptures, the scriptures also say that, right? The food that we eat, the money with which it has been bought. If the money is bought money is earned in a dharmic way, it will affect the person who is eating the food. Scripture goes to that extent of saying, no, so now the family is going to eat, right? And that's why dharma holds the maximum importance. Ethics and values and integrity, etc., is maximum. On the top, it is. Everything else will come below that. One, because dharma is Bhagwan only in another form. And that's why it is important that one chooses dharma. Then, even if the family is going through little inconvenience for it, but if it is a dharmic solution which one is able to find and live, that is more better than family being in a comfort situation, but where some adharma, whatever proportion it may be, is there. So if you see scriptural standpoint, that is the clear choice the scripture gives, and that is the bigger context. Now each one has to decide as per their context how to apply this and how to ensure that there is dharma which is upheld, and then whatever way it means it can be balanced with the family. Compromise of dharma as much as one can avoid is what the scripture would say. One should avoid that. And for that, if somebody has to go through difficulties individually or as a family, etc., one prepares them, one explains to them. That will also set the right example for them also, because the family, the next generation, etc., will also understand the value of dharma. Sometimes they may not immediately appreciate it. That is a possibility. They may think that you are idealistic or the person is idealistic, and everybody else is doing. Why should we not follow all that? And then why should we go through difficulties? So those kind of challenges will come, and sometimes it is that in time only people understand. We may not be able to convince them fully, so we make our attempt. We make the best attempt to convince and explain, and why all this has to be followed, and how it is actually individual's journey. It has nothing to do with collective. The day Ratnakar realized it, that it is my karma which I have to face, there is nobody else with me, he changed. He didn't tell Naradji that I will continue to loot and plunder and I will give donation to your ashram. Nothing. He said, you tell me how to change, I drop right here and now all the adharmic activities. And what was his justification? He was saying, I am doing it for my family. And family washed off the hand, saying, it is your karma to take care of us. We will not bear your sins. That was a wake-up call. Now the point also there is, even if the family says we will not bear your sins, technically family is going to bear the sins, because they have eaten from that food bought by that money. And so there is a karmic consequences that they will also have to face. But in that story, the import of the story is something else, to make the person realize that I have to own up my karmas and I can't escape. And so that brings about a deep transformation, saying, no, I give up the adharmic ways. Even if people are with me, finally who has to suffer? Think about that also. I only have to suffer my karmic consequences. Even if we all are suffering together, my individual suffering is my suffering only, that nobody else can go through that. So then what is the point? If that thinking one keeps doing, then one will come to understand that it's not fear, it is actually making a person have clarity about facts, about dharma and adharma, and then how to abide in dharma and why to abide in dharma, and what is the sacrifice that one needs to do of some selfishness, of some comfort, some luxury, some external kind of appreciation or a glory. So that if one understands, so that slowly only it will happen in the individual also, and then to explain to the family, maybe everybody understands, maybe they don't, maybe understand at different levels. So in time, sometimes it will become evident. But for that, one does not have to compromise from dharma, is what the scripture would say.
Right. All right, Sanjay. Hari Om.
Yes, Mona.
Hari Om Swamiji. On similar lines, what you discussed just now, if you are a part of a larger good, a process, and there could be something as the other gentleman said, which is not right. And you've gone too far in the process. And then you realize that something could not be right. Although you're not a part of it and it's not in your control. Is it, if you pull out of the process, then the larger good is compromised to a great extent. And if you're part of it, as you said, there's no escape from karma. No excuse is good enough to escape from the karma. So like, how does one take a call? Does one take a call for the larger good and continue, or just save oneself from any of the karma and withdraw?
First of all, any larger good, if it is truly in the interest or it is the good of the community, should have dharma in its foundation. If dharma is not in the foundation, it is not truly Shreyas. It will have somewhere some negative karmic effects also.
No, sir, Swami, the core of it is dharma. The core of it is larger good. But because there are a lot of people who are involved in the process for it to move ahead, there could be some who are not right. Most of it could be right. So my question is does one face the consequences of the karma, or one just withdraws even if the whole thing falls apart?
See, the point is, if the foundation is dharma and if some people are not implementing rightly, then depending on whatever is one's position, one has to voice it out, whether individually or collectively, so that what is wrong is completely eliminated and the right thing, right process or right attitude, right intent is set in place. Then the larger good will be truly larger good for all without any conflict. But if that cannot happen, then disassociate from that particular team which is doing the wrong thing and then go into some other team where the ethics etc are being followed. If not that also is possible, then one has to withdraw. Even if that larger good collapses, let it collapse, at least it will become clear that why it has collapsed. And if that really is the intent is to do really good, then the means will be applied which will be good, so that whatever is wrong will be rectified. Whether it happens because of your withdrawal or not is a secondary matter, but at least one has ensured that one is not being a party to something which is wrong. See, always we have to understand, the Gita says very clearly, this is a wrong notion people have, that the goal justifies the means. No, goal does not justify the means. The means are as equally important as the goal, which is what the entire Karma Yoga is based on. When it is said, Karmanyevadhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana, ma karma phala heturvhuhu, the motive of your action determines the merit of the action. Your action cannot be guided just by the result. Anyhow you achieve the means. No, ma karma phala heturvhuhu means that somehow you have to get the means, get the goal. No. You have to get the goal in the righteous way. Mate sangostu akarmani. So if dharma is not a part of the process, or if it is a part of the process but somewhere it is getting compromised, then whatever is the compromise has to be eliminated, rather than eliminating the action or the impact of that action. But if that can't be eliminated, then one has to stop, because the impact of it will be more negative. Along with the good, it will create a negative also. So many times it will be harmful, and sometimes it happens that later on things come to light, then one will be regretting, I knew this and I was a part of this, and now it can have any ramifications. People may think it is not truly good, it was done with ulterior motive, people can speak, anything can happen. The next time you take up something really selfless, that is doubted. Many things, there are ramifications of a negative karma are too many. And not only about people, it's about individual also, no?
True, Swami.
And so it is what scripture says, that pay more important to the means. Actually, the means are only translating as the goal. So the means has to be dharmic. Then only the net result will be Shreyas.
Thank you, Swami. Hari Om.
Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Guru Bhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.